I'm married. To this one.
I'm married too.
We're married. And we're in our apartment.
Yeah, and your hat's in my face.
Get used to it.
I will.
Oh, that's weird. Okay, anyway. So we're married and we're living in New York City, and I figured we could do a little Q&A. My hat looks weird, doesn't it?
It's okay.
Thanks, babe. Love it.
Should put on like Old Town Road for the music to this one.
I don't look like a cowboy.
Well, kinda.
Looks like a little boho babe. All right, anyway, about the hat. So I put up a Q&A on Instagram, and now we're gonna read off the questions. We haven't read them yet, and answer them authentically for you guys. And maybe some of you will be entertained, hopefully.
I don't know the questions, so.
Exactly, we don't. This will be fun. Also, I know this might look silly because I'm wearing a jacket, but we're living in New York City, and New York City is expensive, and it's suddenly the winter tundra here.
It is quite cold.
Therefore, we're not turning the heat on yet, so I'm in a coat.
Balling on a budget.
All right, here are all the questions. Doo-doo-doo. What were your thoughts on your wedding day? I had so many thoughts. I always have a lot of thoughts. But I was just super thankful, and I was super happy, and I wanted to be with everyone. I don't have a lot of FOMO usually, but because everyone that we loved was in one room, I wanted to be able to have quality time with everyone. I remember having those thoughts.
Yeah.
What about you?
For me, thoughts.
Speak loud so they can hear you.
A lot of it was just soaking up moments with our favorite people and the people that have kind of been there from the beginning and watched us grow, whether it was the beginning of the relationship or the beginning of our lives, and really just getting to spend time with those people and celebrating. It was such a joyful time, and there was just a lot of happiness and laughter, and just trying to soak all of that up. That was kind of where my head was. I didn't think so much about anything else other than the moment we were in.
What's the most embarrassing thing Connor has ever done in front of you?
Ooh.
Well, I don't think this is embarrassing, but it's kind of gross and might surprise some people. Do you know what I'm gonna say?
No.
No. It was New Year's Eve.
Is like our first New Year's Eve?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then I do know what you're gonna say, and that was something I could not control.
Right, but most embarrassing moments aren't like controlled. But I also don't think this is embarrassing. It's just normal life, but people would be surprised. About 1 month into dating, I held his barf bag going to the emergency department.
Yes.
That's not really embarrassing,
I was
though.
super sick, and yes, you did hold it. Did I barf in the bag that you held?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay.
You didn't know that?
I really...
Do you miss Nebraska or foresee yourself coming back to Nebraska? I miss Nebraska, more so I miss my family and Husker football and things that come along with Nebraska. Do I see myself coming back? Yeah, absolutely. Come back for holidays and everything, but as far as to live, we don't know. We're in New York right now, we're young, we're living life. I know that we love Dallas, but of course we'll be back, holidays and everything, that's where my whole family is. Did you decide on the theme? Oh no, how did you decide on your theme or color scheme? You want to talk about the theme?
Well, the theme was an around the world theme. We got engaged in Bangkok. I mean, we both love to travel and to adventure. Really, you more so, and I get to adventure with you. And so we wanted to kind of bring that element into the wedding and do, as far as our menu goes, kind of an around the world type feel. Our tables were cities that we've been to, and we even tried to put people at tables in cities that we've been to with, yeah. And so that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. And so for those of you that don't know, like Connor said, the table numbers were cities, and then we had 4 stations for our menu. We had an all-American station. Oh no, we didn't, we had 3. We had an all-American station, we had a Mexican fiesta station, an Asian fusion section, and then at the end of the wedding we had the Italian section, which was like the late night snack of pizza. And that was an easy theme for us to choose. It just kind of fell into place. It aligned with both of us. And then for colors, I wanted it to match my personality. I wanted it to be bright and happy and colorful. And that's definitely what I got. We love Arizona, and I love the scenery of Arizona, especially the sunset. So it was really reflective of all in one, and it just couldn't have been better. I mean, Chloe, our florist,
oh my gosh,
just
blew it out of the water.
Better than I could have ever imagined. Truly, she rocked. And then Sarah, our designer, also just crushed it at making the tablescaping all beautiful, and everybody pitched in. People at Anthem, our venue, everything. How long were you two dating for? Well, you can go back and watch our More Than Crown episode for more details on how we started dating and when and why and how we sort of didn't start dating right away and all the things. But we were officially dating for 3 years.
Just about 3 years, yes.
When we got married, it was
Almost
3 years,
3 years yeah.
of dating.
Mm-hmm.
All of it, long distance. What was your favorite part of your wedding? It looked beautiful.
Well, I think my favorite part, gosh, we had so much fun throughout the night. Like, I think, like when my dad announced us, husband and wife, and we were walking down, I didn't know they were gonna throw flowers. So
oh, you didn't?
No, I had no idea that was happening. So all of a sudden, like, flowers are getting thrown, and we're just like so happy, and that was certainly a memorable moment. And then I think just the dancing, like, we had a party, and it was so much fun just dancing with everybody and having a good time. What about you?
I think walking down the aisle, maybe.
Oh.
Which is what I wanted him to say, but what you said was great too.
Oh.
You know, it's okay.
Sorry.
We all have false expectations, guys. It's best to not, and it's best to have communication. But I don't know, I really don't have a favorite part. It was all so amazing. Everything was just, I'm still speechless about it, so. Do y'all take off your wedding rings or engagement ring? If so, for what? Well.
It's funny, I just told you something about this before we started this.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we went to the gym today together, and I haven't. The only time I've taken it off is to put, I do have the
silicone ones?
bands, and that I usually work out with, or if I'm going out to do something active, I'll put that one on.
We say usually work out with. It's been like 2 weeks of marriage.
Yes, and but I do have this one that I'm wearing now, and it's a nicer, harder.
It's a real
ring. And I wore it to the gym today by accident, and it's weird. It's a thicker ring, and so when I was picking up weights, it was bothering me, so I took it off and put it in my pocket and zipped it up. And I was telling her right before we started that it was like a weird, it felt weird.
It's like a naked feeling when you take it off.
Yeah, and so.
Like something is missing.
That was the only time I've taken it off, but other than that, no.
My story goes a little bit differently. So I took off my engagement ring, which was a part of this story, early on. I think it was like February, so it was still really cold in New York. He was in Texas, we were long distance, and I took it off without knowing. It was a subconscious, smart decision, and I went all the way down to the financial district, living in Midtown of New York, which it's not like super far, but it's also not that convenient, just for a SoulCycle workout because my friend Alex was teaching the class, so I went down for it. After the class, my whole body started tingling when I realized I didn't have my engagement ring on. And I couldn't even cry. I was just in such a panic. We moved all the bikes. They turned all the lights on in the SoulCycle room. We thought maybe that it flew off when I was sweating, even though it fits well. We were freaking out. There was no sign of it. We checked all, like, my shoes, through the towels, everything. I didn't tell him about it, and I didn't call my mom, because Mom, you're quite dramatic, and you usually don't help calm me down. You like amp up my nerves, or you amp up like whatever I'm already feeling. So I called my dad, the rational one, who I thought would calm me down. He was ticked. He was like, how do you not know where it is? Those are family diamonds. And I was like, well, do you know if it's insured? I don't know if it's insured. And he goes, even if it is insured, those are family diamonds. It's priceless. You gotta find it. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay, bye, Dad. You're not helping. I had to ride in the Uber for like 30 minutes until I got back to the apartment without my ring, not knowing where it was. And praise Jesus. It's crazy that I have no recollection of it, but I took it off and I put it at my bedside little ring tray. And then he just found out about that like 2 months ago.
I did.
So now I don't take it off anymore.
There you go.
Not even to sleep. Tika Marie asks, what's the best part of your wedding and what was the best part of your honeymoon? So we kind of answered the wedding part, but what was the best part of our honeymoon?
Ooh.
We both actually have answered this already to family, and we have the same answer, which is really sweet, I think.
Yeah, so one of the mornings, it's not even morning really, like the night before, so I planned a hike, and it was a sunrise hike, and so we got picked up from our hotel at 2 a.m. So we had gone to bed early that night, but got picked up at 2 a.m. and drove about an hour and a half, and started our hike at 4. And we
a.m.
Yes, trekked up this mountain. It was about a 2-hour hike, maybe a little bit less than 2 hours, because we got there about 5:30, between 5:30 and 5:45, and saw the sunrise at Mount Batur, and that was just gorgeous and beautiful. And
I'll put up a video of the hike as well. I took some footage there, but like you said, we were hiking in pitch black with flashlights, so there's not a lot of footage. But it was just so fun, and I really love when I travel doing things that I'll actually experience and therefore remember better. And versus, I mean, going to visit temples and whatnot is beautiful, but I just love actually immersing myself in doing an activity, and so that's why it was my favorite. Yeah.
Yeah.
Were there any Miss Universe sisters that you thought about inviting to your wedding? Actually, I did invite quite a few of them, but being from the US, we're not obviously super close to other countries. So like Europe, for example, they're all a lot closer to each other, so it's not very convenient to come all the way over here. But I invited my sweet girls, and each of them talked to me at different times, you know, explaining like what their thoughts were coming. And my biggest thing is I wanted to invite them so that they knew that how important they are in my life and how much I love them and admire their friendship forever in my life. But I also told a lot of them, like, don't spend an arm and a leg to come to our wedding where we'll be celebrating with hundreds of people. Instead, let's like plan a trip later on where we can have quality time, because at your wedding you can really just say hi, bye, and not have a whole lot of quality catch-up time. And with these women from around the world, I want to be able to have that. So that's why for Sonia, for example, she, instead of coming to the wedding because she was invited, just flew to Bali for the day to go to dinner with us and spend some time.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And like Francesca was busy. She had a family wedding the next weekend, and Gigi, she, silly girl, like really wanted to come, and I told her to not go to a financial burden in order to do so. So we will get together with them, I have no doubt. What are your age gaps in your relationship?
30 days.
Isn't that funny?
30 days. October 4th, 1994, and November 3rd, 1994.
Good job. What's been the most challenging thing you have faced in your relationship?
I mean, certainly the distance, and then, I mean, obviously when you won Miss USA, that kind of flipped our worlds upside down.
Sorry about that.
So I don't know if that made it more difficult. It just brought new challenges, and so challenges that neither of us really anticipated. So I'd say that time, and just the combination of the distance and the crazy schedules and wanting to be together but not being able to be at times. So
he took that really serious, and I think I'm gonna go a little more lighthearted. So fun fact, I'm his first ever girlfriend. So at the beginning of their relationship, there was a lot of learning to be had, and I can't even think of a specific example, but I'm sure I could come up with one. Should I talk about Atlanta?
That's where my head went.
That's what you were thinking?
Yeah.
Okay, so we start dating in mid-November, we become official, exclusive mid-December. Beginning of January, we take our first road trip together to Passion Conference, the Young Adult Christian Conference. Is such a great experience. If you guys have the opportunity, you should go this January, and it's in Atlanta again. We're gonna try to be there. But anyway, so we're driving, and surprise, I get my period.
I have no sisters, by the way. No women in my house other than my mom.
Correct.
So I didn't grow up with
Females.
talking about things like this.
You don't talk about it, they don't know about it. He didn't have a girlfriend, no sisters. His mom is a mom of all boys. It's not like she needs to talk to them about this. So, this was unexpected for me. I had to stop on the road when we were road tripping with him and his friends. Thankfully, there were 2 other girls with us, but neither of them had things either. And I remember telling him, like, it's my time of the month. And he was like, what? And I was like, I'm being a girl right now. And he's like, are you not a girl all the time? And I was like, I'm on my period. And he was like, oh. And this was the night that we arrived. And I thought, you know, we were gonna have some quality time, talk together in the hall or whatever before we went our separate ways and went to sleep. And we were chatting. And instantly when I told him, like, I'm on my period, we need to go to the convenience store tomorrow before the conference, he was like, okay, do you need anything? And I was like, no, I don't need anything. I just need to go to the store tomorrow to get some tampons. And he was like, okay, good night. And like, didn't even kiss me good night.
I don't remember that.
It was like, he thought I had like Ebola. It was really funny. Like, so funny. So funny. And then I told his mom about the story and she wasn't surprised at all because she hadn't like prepared you for such an experience.
No.
But it's life, ladies. And boys. It's moment of learning. Anyway, so that was pretty funny. But it was like a funny challenge, you know, just lots of things that he needed to learn along the way.
Oh, I'm yawning because I'm still getting used to
jet lag.
Jet lag, yes.
It's so bad. Okay, do you want to read this one?
Did you and Connor remember to pray during your first night as husband and wife? Yeah, we prayed. We had a moment before the ceremony, actually, where we didn't do a first look, but there was a door that separated us. I was on one side of the open door and she was on the other, and we got to hold hands, and I led us in prayer, and that was a sweet, special time.
And there were a lot of moments of prayer, obviously, during the ceremony and then even during the reception. So yeah. Did you write your own vows? No, because we didn't want to cry, and I felt like if we wrote our own vows and didn't share them with each other, we could both just go such different directions in length, in level of, like, intensity, if you will.
Well, we didn't write our own vows, but we did write letters to each other, and in those letters, they did have.
Oh, is yours right in there?
Have promise, yeah.
Go get it.
Okay.
He's gonna get it. In the meantime, I'll answer this next one really quick. A couple of you asked how many dresses did I try on till I picked the one. A lot. And I didn't know at first at all. I had to go back and try like my top 6 back on again, and then I picked one. Anyway, yeah. So we traded. It says, it was always you. And what did mine say? Oh, mine said from him. He wrote in one for me that said, see you at the altar. Anyway, so it was cute. That's what we exchanged before the ceremony. And we wrote in it. Most of the time, brides do the planning. What was important to Connor while planning?
Wait, most of the time, who does the planning?
I planned.
No.
Okay.
But what
was important to you, babe?
Oh, that was a good question. I really only cared about one thing.
Good job, Jet Set and Jess. He wanted to answer that question.
The one thing that I really cared about was, and it was kind of weird, was the song that she walked down the aisle to. I'd always envisioned my bride walking down to a specific song, and it was You're Beautiful by Shane and Phil Wickham. And there's a part in the song where it talks about wedding bells ringing and all rise, and it was just like kind of a perfect moment. But the song is about the love of Christ, and it was just a great reminder that yes, this day is about us and our love for each other, but we're only here because of the love that God has shown for us, and demonstrated for us on the cross. And that song reminded me of that and our relationship, and it was just such a beautiful tune. And
yeah, it was really pretty. At first when he told me that, ladies, I was like, wait, you've envisioned your future bride walking down to this like before you even knew me? I don't know how I feel about that. Like, that's not very personal for us. And then I listened to it and I got over it. Anyway, going back to that question about how many did you try on, a lot of you asked similar questions. This one is, how did picking your wedding dress compare to picking your Miss USA gown? You know, picking my wedding dress was different than picking any of my pageant dresses because I'd never worn white before, which is something that I would advise all of you to maybe try if you want it to be able to remain special and different and unique in some way. I saved white for my wedding day. I didn't wear white at I did wear white at homecoming, prom, but it was like a short dress. I didn't wear any pageant dresses, prom dresses in white because I wanted to save it for you.
Thank you, babe.
You're welcome. It was also mostly for myself, so it felt different and unique. Because when I went prom dress shopping, it wasn't exciting like it was for my other high school friends because of pageant dresses are even more extravagant. Ooh, Regina, why Arizona? Besides the beautiful scenery, of course, is there a special story? Do you want to take it?
No, I mean, you can.
Yeah, okay.
You take it.
All right.
You take it.
Taking it away.
All right, go ahead.
So, I think it's very important to us and to most couples to start off the marriage on the best notes possible with everyone involved in the families. And my family's from Nebraska, his family's from Texas. Like, mostly all of extended families in Nebraska, extended family in Texas. I've never really had a plot of land or a church or anything in the state of Nebraska that I desired to get married at. And I felt as though if we picked Texas, it would feel like we were choosing his family. So I didn't want to get married in either of our home states for that reason. And so we chose like a neutral location that was beautiful and that everyone would have to travel. But as far as where, we both love to hike, and we talked about Colorado, but he proposed in December and I wanted about a year engagement. So
would have been a little chilly.
A snowy wedding.
Yeah, we liked the warm weather and the fact that it was like in the desert. The chance of rain was very limited, and so that was always a plus because we wanted to do something outdoorsy and mountainous, and so that's what we got.
That is what we got, and it was literally perfect. Why was your next line so low? That question's hilarious. Funny. Why was your neckline so low? Well, I went to Mexico with the Universal Traveling Girls like 2 weeks before my wedding, and it was an all-inclusive experience with all the drinks and all the dessert and all the tacos, and I didn't have any regrets. So then when I went back to New Jersey to Castle Couture and I tried my wedding dress on, my seamstress was like, "You're so bloated," because my boobs were out. And I thought I would be able to get it under control, but it wasn't just bloat.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Did you mind it, man?
I didn't know.
Did you mind it?
I didn't mind.
He didn't mind it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We're good. Okay. That's really funny. We answered that. Why did you have so many people in your wedding party? All right, that's something to talk about. We also talked about this in that podcast pretty in depth. Originally, I thought I would have a super small wedding party and a super small wedding. And he's always had a really big group of friends and kind of would have as many groomsmen as I let him, honestly. And so originally I was like 6, no more. And he was like, "I can't do 6, I need more than 6. And then once I got up to like 8, then I couldn't have less than 12.
Yep, so you had 12.
Yeah, he had 12.
I did have 12. I had 2 guys that could not make it. So, and I have 10 that were present.
Yeah. So 2 of his guys were super lucky and got to walk 2 of my girls down. But it was funny because my mom was one of the first, like the major people that said, you just have too many girls in your wedding party. You're never going to talk to all of those people for the rest of your life. You need to narrow it down, blah, 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 blah. And then it was so sweet. After wedding weekend, she looked at me and said, I know I gave you a hard time about this, but after spending time with every single one of them this weekend, I understand why you did that. So I'm just really grateful for the role that each of them has played in my life and in our relationship too. And I don't regret putting all of them in it at all. I'm really thankful. It was perfect.
I agree. Same for my guys. It was just awesome having the guys that were there. Her brother was one of my groomsmen, and it was so cool how friends collide and mesh, and from different circles of life, from whether it's high school or college or different sports teams or childhood, whatever. And they come to rally around you, and then your friends become friends, and it's really cool.
How were you certain, content, and ready for the wedding? So he laughed earlier when somebody asked us about planning, because I really delegated like everything. I'm not a florist, I'm not a designer, I'm not a wedding coordinator, so I delegated everything like completely to the people that are experts in that area, so that I could just relax and be fully just present with what I wanted to do. And that way, I also didn't know if anything was wrong, because I didn't really know what it was supposed to be like. So I was fully content and peaceful. And I would suggest that to anybody.
Do you want children, and when?
Yes. Yes, but not anytime soon.
Yes, we're gonna enjoy each other's company.
We're young.
For a little while.
We want to travel, and we need to be able to afford each other before a human, another human being.
Place.
Yeah. Yep. But it's really neat. We actually both have a heart for adoption, and maybe we'll do another podcast or YouTube video on that if you guys are interested.
Yeah. That's a good one. Does being married feel different?
Yeah.
Yes, because we're like
together.
And like I think the coolest thing I was telling her is the last time I was here before the wedding, I was like, it's pretty cool. The next time I'll be here, I won't have a return flight. And that's
pretty different.
Yeah. And so yes, it does feel different, but also like, no, I'm enjoying just as like much time as I can get with my best friend, and spending time with her, falling asleep next to her. And
yeah, that's weird. I'm not used to sleeping next to their human yet. I don't think I like it yet.
Hey, it was funny. So I've gotten a little sick over the last. If you can't hear it in my voice already, I'm a little nasally. But just the adjustment and the time difference and getting back to American food and whatnot. I was pretty sick last night, and like mom mode went
Seriously,
into play.
anytime he sniffled last night, I was like, I'm awake.
Are you okay?
Are you awake? Nope, he's not awake. Okay, you can go to bed.
I think I woke up at 3 a.m. and I'm like,
but it's love. Okay, did y'all have a first look? No, we wanted it to be during my walk down the aisle because I really wanted him to cry. But then I laughed just from pure joy the entire walk down the aisle. Actually, the story with that is I started crying when my dad and I started to turn the corner, and he looked at me and he goes, stop it. Because he would start crying. And then I started crying more, and he goes, get your shit together. And I laughed hysterically. I just started busting out laughing because he made me laugh so that I wouldn't cry. And then I was crying, laughing like the whole way down the aisle, and then you started laughing at me.
I was like on the verge of tears as she's like turning the corner, and then all of a sudden she just like burst out this big old giggle, and I'm what? I started laughing, and so it was funny.
That relates to the next question. When do you guys going to release the wedding video? At least a short one of like 10 minutes. So you will see the giggles on the wedding video. But our amazing wedding photographer, shout out to Grayson, she is a new mommy of her first child, and so we're not rushing her at all. I know you guys are excited. We're excited too, but you'll be sure to see it when it does come out. We'll definitely share it with you guys. Let's answer one more. Pick one and point.
Well, that's a quick one. How many people were there?
Yeah?
We had about 180, just under.
Right, it was a good amount.
Wasn't too big, wasn't too small.
Yeah. Last year at one of my big homecoming galas in Nebraska as Miss USA, we had about 300, and I knew everyone, and it was such a room of love, but I was stressed because it was essentially like a line to take pictures with everyone, and I knew I didn't want that at my wedding. I wanted to be able to actually have conversation and dance and everything, and that's what happened, and so I'm really thankful.
There was another really good question I think we should answer. That one.
Fine. He wants to know. House Cabin wants to know. Is this you? Did you make a fake Instagram account named House Cabin?
I did not. It's not me, I promise. No burner accounts. No burner.
What's something you like most about your husband?
Aww. Let's hear it, babe.
I like that he's my really rational second counterpart. I like that he...
Second counterpart?
Like you're my second half, you're my counterpart. It came out wrong.
Oh, okay. I was like, you have another counterpart?
Yeah, I do.
I need to pause this.
I have a few of those. 12 bridesmaids, remember? And my mom.
True. All right.
Anyway, so I love that he's my level-headed, rational one. He also is pretty goofy sometimes. He loves me really well, and he puts up with all my quirks, and he pushes me when I need it. And what else do you do? You go on adventures with me, and he goes out of his way to plan things that he wouldn't necessarily love, but that I did, like the hike that we talked about earlier.
I loved it. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. And look, he's so cute.
Oh my gosh. All right.
I'm just kidding. I think he's like pretty good looking too.
Thanks, babe.
You're welcome.
Right.
Anyway, thanks for tuning in. I know this is kind of long, but we answered a lot of questions, so let us know if you want us to do this again, or if we should just not and stick to podcasts. Thanks. We're married.
Oh, you're recording? Yeah, we are married. I'm over here like checking myself out.
It's okay. You can do that, I guess.
Are we like gonna talk or?
Stop! That's gross. Some people are gonna think it's gross, and then other people who have weird feet fetishes are gonna be obsessed with my husband's feet.
You can cut it out.
That's a thing.
It's so weird.
I don't have one. I'm not speaking from experience.
Comment below if you want to see more of Connor's feet.
Ew, don't do that.
No?
Sick.
Why not? Let's just get to the questions.
That was your doing.
You harped on it.
Oh, and if you're getting married soon, good luck.
Your hat's in my... There we go.
Say bye.
Bye, everybody.